Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Monday, October 9th, 2023. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. Back from Miami. Took a little vacation, which was nice. Haven't had one of those in like 3 years. So that was pretty good. Got to enjoy my weekend. It was all good. So thank you all so much for jumping back in after that. How is everyone doing today? Obviously, there was a big breaking. Obviously, there was a big story yesterday that we're going to get into. The attack in Israel. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this. I think you pretty much know where I'm going to fall on what happened yesterday. Over the course of yesterday and Saturday as well. It was not good. Not good. As we continue to see, there's just a whole portion of the world that just can't seem to get their act together. A whole portion of the world that can't seem to get their act together. But amidst the violence that I think affects us here in America, we're going to get into a story about 4 Americans that were killed in Israel, with the death toll expected to rise. Of course, the death toll of Americans expected to rise. Some, hundreds and hundreds of people were killed. Thousands and thousands were injured in the attacks on Israel yesterday over the course of the weekend. We'll get to that in a little bit. Before we do, guys, hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on Rumble. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the like button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. I want to say hello to everyone. How is everybody doing today? Also, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'm putting a petition in the chat. I'm very happy to have teamed up with with Judicial Watch to help purge our voter rolls of all the nonsense voters that are still participating in voting, despite the fact that they may be dead, despite the fact they may be ineligible to vote. So if you guys wouldn't mind clicking on that link, sign on the petition to help Judicial Watch purge our voter rolls and really get those under control. We know that that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to elections in this country, so we are proud to team up with the people over at Judicial Watch to help them with that. So if you guys wouldn't mind clicking that link, it is in the comments on Rumble, it is in the comments on Facebook, and on YouTube. Please do sign that petition. It really helps out the show, and it helps out Judicial Watch doing what they need to do. To help secure our elections. So the big story coming out today, 4 Americans at the very least, this from CNN, have been killed in the Israeli terrorist attacks, with the death toll expected to rise. At least 4 Americans have been killed in the attacks in Israel, and the U.S. officials expect the death toll to rise. Senator Chuck Schumer told the press on Sunday. The Senate Majority Leader said in a statement that he was briefed Sunday evening by senior national security officials. Unfortunately, we know that there are Americans who were killed. The administration told us that there were 4 thus far, but sadly, we know that death toll is going to rise. Earlier Sunday, the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said the U.S. was working overtime to verify reports about missing and dead Americans after Hamas launched an unprecedented attack against Israel. We have reports that several Americans were killed. We're working overtime to verify that. At the same time, there are reports of missing Americans, and there again, we're working to verify those reports. Some of the videos coming out of Israel are absolutely horrifying. People being kidnapped, 260 young people killed at a music festival. It would seem one of the videos, let me pull this up right now, is of one girl who had been raped at this music festival. This was a video of her dancing at that music festival just hours before being kidnapped by terrorists. And I'll say it. I don't care how many people protest all over New York City. We'll get to that in a minute because it's incredibly upsetting there. This girl, Shani Luke, I'm probably mispronouncing that, probably moments before Hamas raped her, broke her limbs, and killed her, then paraded her naked body around in the back of a pickup truck, yelling, Allahu Akbar. Of course, because we know that those are the words that when you hear it, you should run in the opposite direction. But hey, remember, guys, you're the terrorists. You're the terrorists, not people that would kill a bunch of kids, whatever you want to call them, young people at music festivals. Here is another video of people fleeing that music festival yesterday or Sunday. They're running for their cars from the festival amidst shots being fired in the crowd in, where was that? The Hamas militants who massacred 260 festival goers raped the women's bodies next to their dead friends. One of the festival goers who witnessed the horror said women had been raped in the area of the rave next to their friends' bodies. Next to their friends' dead bodies. Other women were captured, bound, and kidnapped and have not been seen since. That's from Tablet Magazine. Pretty terrifying stuff that we're still dealing with this. There were clashes last night in New York City between Palestinian protesters or Palestinian supporters and Israeli supporters in New York City, as there always tends to be. Of course. We will see. This is pretty wild. This woman, her name is Talia Jane. She's actually one of the genuine worst people in America. She actually accosted me at an event a number of years ago. Antifa activist Talia Jane's complained to the police about people accosting her at a New York City pro-Israel rally. The anti-police activist is annoyed cops won't stop a man calling her a terrorist. Talia was previously revealed to be at January 6th, dressed in disguise. She's one of the worst people ever. She was at a Tim Pool event in Philadelphia. Maybe it's had to be 4 or 5 years ago, where the event had to be moved from its original location to a casino because of threats of violence from members of Antifa. So it turns out people like this woman Talia, she's genuinely not a good person. She likes the police to protect her. She just doesn't like the police to protect anyone else. And of course, she's got her face covered so that nobody can see her, because some people got the sniffles once ago. It's sad to see. We're gonna get more stories. Here are some of the pro-Israel protests going on in New York City. Let me pull it up a little bit for everybody. Waving Israeli flags, dancing around. It is wild to see. Here are some of the Palestinian protests, or the pro-Palestinian protests going on. Well, what I would assume is at least in the relative area somewhere. Only because you can see that some of the cops are from the same precincts. So we shall see what is made of all of that. We'll see what is made of all of that. I'm really not sure why this guy, who has been making the rounds on social media, I'm really not sure why this guy is holding up a Nazi symbol on the pro-Palestinian side, pointing at the Israeli protesters. One can only imagine that it's probably not for a good reason. But this is what happens. This is what happens. But hey, remember, guys, you're the terrorists. You're the ones that the FBI ought to be watching out for. You're the ones that the CIA are going to track. They're not going to track any of these people. They're not going to track down. And look, people are going to get mad about this, and I'm sure a lot of other shows today are going to talk about how Israel knew it was going to happen, and they let it happen. Other people are going to talk about that. I'm not going to. That's not something I'm ever going to engage in on the show. Actually, on my 1 o'clock show today, I'm hosting 2 hours today. If you guys want to tune in, that's rumble.com/LFATV. I'll be hosting a 2-hour-long show today. We're going to break down the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Ben Shapiro actually does a very good video breaking this down over the course of, really since he goes back to biblical days. But it's a pretty fascinating video that he breaks down, because I think it's important to provide context to all of this. As they said, 260 bodies were recovered from the site where people fled a hail of bullets at an Israeli music festival. For weeks, this from the BBC. For weeks, excited music lovers have been looking forward to the Supernova Festival held in the desert in southern Israel to coincide with the Jewish festival of Sukkot. Look, and I just want to be clear. If you guys watch the 1 o'clock show, and I'm going to do a lot more talking about this in that hour, I'm going to mispronounce everything. I don't mean to be offensive to either side. It's going to happen. I'm sorry. The time has come when the whole family is about to get together again. Organizers wrote on social media before it began, and what fun it's going to be. Just hours later, their social media page were flooded with desperate people trying to find their loved ones after Palestinian militants stormed the festival and opened fire as part of a huge surprise attack on Israel. More than 260 bodies had been recovered from the festival site, according to the rescue agency Zaka. One party goer called Ortel said the first sign that something was wrong was when a siren went off at around dawn, warning of rockets. Eyewitnesses said the rockets were quickly followed by gunshots. They turned off the electricity, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the militants, came inside with gunfire, opening fire in every direction, she told Israel's Channel 12. 50 terrorists arrived in vans dressed in military uniforms. People tried to flee the site. She said running across the sand and getting into cars to drive away, but partygoers said they were jeeps full of gunmen shooting at the cars. Some of them have been were blown up. It was quite the scene. It was quite the scene out there, as we say. And look, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like we've grown. I don't want to say soft, but unaware that there are still large roving bands of militants out there. Here is some of the footage coming out of Israel of where the bombs hit. Cars strewn about. Many of them look like they've been blown up. It's a sad, sad day. However, this is unfortunately the world that many people around the world still live in, and it's sad to see. It's sad to see. So we will see what comes of all of that. Austin Newless, how are you? What's going on, brother? Good to see you. If Trump was president, this never would have happened. Get the senile old man. Hey, you got that right. You got that right. Absolutely, 100%. This wasn't a lot of this stuff was not happening when Trump was in office. This is the site of the music festival just outside of the Gaza Strip in southern Israel. I guess that's southern Israel. Looks like middle Israel-ish. But, right in the middle of the desert. So, it was right on the Gaza line. So, go figure. But we shall see what happens. We shall see what the response is, obviously. Bibi Netanyahu has declared war, which Israel hasn't declared a formal war in quite some time. Of course, the world is stuck in chaos, as always. Whether it's the nonsense going on in Ukraine, whether it's terrorist attacks going on in Israel. Of course, the Democratic Socialists of America have decided that they're going to hold a rally. They decided they were going to hold a rally in solidarity with the Palestinian people and their right to resist 75 years of occupation and apartheid. Of course, whenever people, and I don't really, you may feel one way or the other, upside down, whatever, however you feel about it. When people use the phrase apartheid, most people have no idea what the hell that word even means. And it bothers me because I think that we should stick to definitions that we've all agreed upon. An apartheid state is when the majority is subjugated by the minority. So very famously, the apartheid state in South Africa, where 20% were white, but most of them ruled the country over the majority, 80% black in the country. That is an apartheid state, where a system is perpetrated and perpetually set up to keep a majority down by not allowing them to join the majority world, so to speak. So we shall see what happens there. I hate when they call it an apartheid because I don't care what side of it you happen to fall on. My let's just stick to the language that we've all agreed upon. Let's stick to the language we've all agreed upon. We're going to get to more national news in just a second. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
Over the last 20 years, with all your support, we've been able to not only launch the original MyPillow, but also the MyPillow mattress topper, Giza Dream bed sheets, My Slippers, and the MyPillow bath towels. But there's so much more. In fact, we have over 200 products, and I'm so confident that you'll love each and every one of them that when you go to MyPillow.com now, you'll immediately receive a free gift valued at $20 just for checking out the website. No purchase necessary. Get everything from MyPillow blankets, sleepwear, kitchen towels, mattresses, duvets, pet beds, body pillows, comforters, couch pillows, bathrobes, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And remember, just for checking out MyPillow.com, you'll immediately receive a free gift valued at $20. No purchase necessary. This is a limited time promotion, so go to MyPillow.com now.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Once again, guys, I'll be putting the petition in the chat. If you guys wouldn't mind signing that, it really helps the show. It really helps the show help Judicial Watch purge the voter roll so that we can get free and fair elections in this country. They're helping to get rid of all the dead people voting. Somebody just said in the chat, it appears 9 Americans. Let me see this. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that. Yes, MSNBC has reported at least 9 Americans have been killed. Wow, so that number has gone up substantially in the last 2 hours. 9 Americans have now been killed as the news breaks, as everybody starts to get their news this morning. Let me see. The only way I can, the only website that has it is MSNBC, unfortunately. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull this up here. So MSNBC just has videos. They don't have any sort of stuff to read. Yes, so 9 Americans have been killed in the Israeli conflict, and I'm sure that number will go higher. Sad to see. It's sad to see that stuff like this is still happening all over the world in so many different places. But such is life. You know, this is the sort of thing that people have to deal with. As I said, this is the first time Israel has officially declared war since 1973 after Hamas terrorists killed at least 800 people. I'm sure that death toll will go higher and higher. So we will see what comes of all that. Reports keep breaking at this hour that it's even more American terror, that it's even more Americans have died in Israel. We're gonna dive into way more of that at the 1 o'clock show today. That seems to be all that's anybody's talking about. I just want to talk about Miami. I was down there for the Timcast IRL podcast. It was Tim Pool, Patrick Bet-David, Matt Gates, James O'Keefe, Luke Rakowski, and Ian Crossan. It was an absolutely phenomenal time. I got some big stuff planned for the shows here after that event, and I'm super excited about that. They will all be released in due time, but I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen there, guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place so you never miss out on anything we've got going on. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Sign that newsletter so you never miss out on what we got going on this weekend. I will be at the Islip Street Fair on Sunday the 15th. If anybody wants to come on down and say hello. Haven't seen everybody in quite some time, so it would be good to catch up with everybody. Newsmax just reported 9 Andrew Peters is having some fun in the chat. I love the enthusiasm, my friend. Love the enthusiasm. We're going to wrap it up right now. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in on this Monday. We'll be back at 1 p.m. on LFA TV. That's rumble.com/LFA TV for the best political news anywhere in the world, period. So, guys, once again, hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door if you haven't already. Hit the follow button if you guys are new to the page. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you all so much. And I will see you guys back live at 1 p.m. Until then, everybody, stay loud.